Welcome, everyone. Happy Thursday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Thursday, December 11th, 2025. We will be doing a masculine, feminine, non-binary energy update today. We are going to be utilizing first in the headspace of the masculine, the Tarot del Fuego deck. Can I get 3 cards, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to? We've got flying out of the deck, first and foremost, the Emperor card in its upright. Can I get 2 more, please? Second card for masculine, we've got the 9 of Wands in its upright. And third card that we have in the masculine headspace right now is the King of Pentacles in its upright. So there's a lot of energy. Let's talk about it. You might be asking yourself, what happened? Why is the energy change? Well, let me tell you a little bit of what's been happening today. Neptune is stationed direct, and it's not just the fact that Neptune is stationed direct, but Mercury is also moving into Sagittarius. Now, the thing about it is Mercury moving into Sagittarius is usually not a big deal, but you have to bear in mind there's a few other planets that are hanging out in Sagittarius right now during Sagittarius season, and those are Venus and Mars. All right, this is a continuation of masculine working through the modalities or the experiences of understanding the difference, working through the difference between the ability to sit within feelings, to be centered within self, versus being energetically at the behest of those feelings. And what is the difference between having the ability to sit with our feelings versus being at the behest of them? When we are at the behest of our feelings, we feel impelled to do things. And that's why we have to be that's why we have to have the moment of being able to work through our feelings to such an extent to be able to articulate and identify why we feel the way that we do, why we work through them. And because those modalities or experiences by which we're able to feel, right? The ability to effectively feel a lot of emotionality, but not feel triggered within it, not feel energetically reactive about it, to be able to come into the space of expanding upon the sense of self, it allows us to effectively energetically calibrate for what it is that we're trying to do in a better way versus those experiences by which, and this is what we talk about when we talk about the idea of the emotions that get the better of us, right? The emotions that get the better of us often break things. Right? Because that's that density point wherein we feel a lot of emotions upon something, but we don't put them in the space by which they can go. And then that leads to something feeling energetically volatile or energetically damaged. I feel like I see a lot of the masculine working upon pathwork of contemplation, particularly and especially in relationality to experiences in the past by which they might not have necessarily known themselves as well. And so I keep on getting that for a lot of the energy working through those experiences, the path work is I keep on hearing, finding healthy ways, not just finding healthy ways to communicate feelings, right? Because communication of feelings is only half the work. It's not just about the ability to communicate what you're feeling, because if you're feeling something and what you're feeling does not have a direction attached to it, then that's not the ability that you're communicating your emotions. You're burdening another person with them. So, and I feel like this is interesting because this is the conversation that masculine is either having with themselves or with other masculine energy, right? The difference between healthy conversation and divesting oneself of emotions. And the answer to whether what one is doing is always the same. Direction, direction, direction. Emotions should be directions, right? Healthy emotions should be directions. That's the force that effectively moves us forward. But that's why we often feel those modalities or experiences by which we get frustrated, or we feel really energetically frustrated upon the self. And I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy communicating upon that, what's lovely is this is the energy that's understanding that's why the communication of dreams is so important, because the ability to carry emotions is half the work. The confidence to be able to carry the dream forward in terms of what the emotions would like to create is the other half. And so that's why I keep on getting that for a lot of the energy right now it feels like it feels positive, and it feels energetically restorational. And we're going to go further too, because I also see it's the energy that is trying to build into a balanced partnership. And this is, I keep on hearing, this is the energy of the pathwork of the masculine that sees that as what is protective instead of protected, right? Continuing to get clarification for feminine energy right now, we're going to be using the Tarot of the Divine. Can I get 3 cards, please? Thank you. We've got here the 9 of Wands in its reversal, in combination with the Empress in its reversal, in combination with the Lovers in its reversal. So this is a continuation of what we were effectively articulating. And again, bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. In relationality to understanding and identifying. And this is the continuation of the conversation I was about to get to in relationality to the difference between protective and protected. Now, what is the difference between protective and protected? Protective are circumstances and situations that are amplified and articulated by the space of another that is working to see one energetically flourish, right? It is the relationship by which one feels that one can thrive. And feminine, and I keep on seeing like this conversation that feminine is having with counterpart is potentially articulating upon the breakage point. And this is why feminine understands. Feminine isn't looking for love. Feminine's looking for healthy love, because feminine has had love that is more akin to coveting. And what is coveting? Coveting is when you want to cover something. Okay, it's the space by which the love that you feel is overprotective of something, to the space by which you don't want anyone else to experience it. Right? It's often those modalities. And this is why we have to be very conscientious of healthy love. Because when our love comes through as coveting in the space by which we energetically acute something, we make it feel smaller, because instead of feeling like we're trying to be protective of another person working towards their highest self, we feel the anxiety of trying to energetically acute something in relationality to lowering or feeling like something needs to be energetically protected. And so this is why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the relationship, this is feminine having conversations with counterpart on the difference between the love that feels healthy, the protective counterpart, the counterpart that effectively feels the space of wanting to energetically protect another, but in a way that allows one to be able to be in their authenticity, versus feeling protected, which is often those experiences by which another person tried to energetically stifle another, because and claiming that it was love, it was the force of love by which they were doing it, right? Like that modality by which you don't navigate another's choice, but they articulate upon the fact that they're trying to put love there. And this is what we talk about with the unhealthy love. And this is why we calibrate and understand that love is always in the context of honoring each other's choices. So that's why we see that for a lot of the relationship of the feminine, these are the conversation points in terms of the feminine, like talking and walking towards their wariness on love, because it's the space by which it's not enough for someone to articulate that they care about them, but for them to be aware enough about the self that their love actually feels like love. And it doesn't feel like some kind of modality of energetic control that often comes through the insecurity of the self. Now, this brings us to the non-binary energy. And we're going to be utilizing the Smith-Waite Centennial deck for the purposes of the headspace of the non-binary. We've got the 8 of Pentacles in its reversal. We've got the 7 of Swords in its reversal, and we've also got one more, please. We've also got the Justice card in its reversal. Now, the thing with the Justice, like this is a continuation. This is exactly, the one thing I will point out right now is for a lot of the non-binary energy, I I feel like there's something that they often need to do. It's almost, I keep on hearing a lot of the non-binary energy often feels like they have to work through the space of holding themselves to an incredibly high standard, is what I keep on seeing. And why does the energy have to hold themselves to an incredibly high standard? Because I keep on getting that when we are in the wake of another person's projections of us, when we're feeling that anxiety, when we're feeling that frustration, when we're working through situations or experiences by which others, like I keep on seeing the space by which we hold ourselves to a standard is one that we don't, and I need to describe this because this was actually coming through in yesterday's harmonic update. And it was coming through specifically with the temperance relationships. But the way I can describe this is they work towards a level of exceptional that they don't hold others to. And it's the difference, and I keep on getting, it's the difference between holding incredibly high standards to the self versus holding impossible standards to others. Because I keep on hearing the conversation that they have to one another is about, I keep on hearing, it's about exceptional standards that require exception, because the exceptional standards that require exception have to do with the journey of the self, and which says it's okay to hold oneself to an exceptional standard. But if you're holding oneself to an exceptional standard, you have to be compassionate to the self in the same space, right? It's the same, it's the understanding, it's the energy that says, and I feel like that's what's happening with the counterpart. It's understanding and recognizing that they have to allow compassion in as they continue to facilitate and do that work. Because everything I keep on seeing there, and I feel like these are either conversations that they're having with others, but also conversations that they're having with the self. Because and this is what heals the perfection wound. This is actually what heals the perfection wound, right? The observation that it's totally okay to hold oneself to an exceptional standard, so long as you don't project that exceptional standard on everyone around the self, right? You hold the healthy standard. And often I keep on hearing sometimes, and the gift of that is when we're being too hard on ourselves. The way we can usually tell that we're being too hard on ourselves are often those modalities or those experiences by which we recognize and identify that there's something there that we're trying to, like something that we would immediately apply care for another person. We don't apply care for ourselves, is what I keep on getting. So I feel like there's a lot of that energy that's working through those experiences. And I feel like it's not allowing the context. It's like it's not allowing the context of being too hard on themselves as they strive for energetic exceptionalism. Continuing to get clarification between back into masculine heart space, and we're going to be utilizing the Smith-Waite system for the heart space of the masculine today. 3 cards. We've got here the 6 of Cups in its upright. We've got the 2 of Swords in its upright, and we also have the 7 of Pentacles in its upright. I like this combination, right? Because this is the heart of masculine working to act as arbitrator, right? I keep on seeing emotional arbitration is what I keep on getting. And what do I mean by emotional arbitration? This is where it's not just enough to have feelings. And I know that's really hard because I keep on seeing this for a lot of masculine energy, especially I feel like a lot of masculine energy is working through the experience by which they learn some kind of ability to disassociate from their emotions. And the thing is, there's no strength. Everybody can do that. It's easy. It's easy. That's the thing about it. That's what's so hard. If that's the masculine, it's what's hard. It's hard. It's actually harder when we learn to disassociate, right? Because when we learn to disassociate, the ability to do so is just there, right? It's just there waiting for us is what we keep on seeing. And so for a lot of that work or a lot of that energy, I keep wondering, trying to be able to sit within energetic feelings is what I keep on seeing. The ability to effectively stay centered in the self, in the realm of emotions, and not allowing oneself like the easy ability to disassociate out of it, but rather the ability to effectively articulate or allow the space of feeling. Like the way we feel safe in our emotions is not by disassociating from them. It's the ability to feel them and not be reactive towards them. So it's building into those pathworks of patience. It's building into those pathworks of, I keep on hearing like contemplation. And for a lot of the energy doing that work, navigating through, I keep on getting navigating through energetic frustration, but not only just not only just navigating through energetic frustration, but working into the space of being able to arbitrate as to whether their feelings are something that needs to be addressed outside the self or inside the self. It's always the space by which we understand that we figure out if our emotions are safe, in the space by which we can articulate the direction that we want the emotions to bring us towards, right? The ability to communicate the manifestation goal attached to the emotions. Because when we are just communicating our emotions to others, right? But we don't have a clear indication as to what another person would have us do with them, then that is also an act of disassociating, because it's the space by which you're simply unburdening the emotions onto another. And so I keep on getting that this is a lot of the work of the masculine that's working on communicating the emotions in a healthy way, and also working on the feeling, like I keep on hearing like the space by which they tell another person not only what the emotions mean to them, but what they aspire and desire in relationality to the directions in terms of what it is where it is they would like to go. And I keep on hearing this from masculine, because it's if masculine is working on their confidence there, it's always, I keep on hearing, it's better to know, right? Like why would we not be in a space by which we articulate our manifestation goals? Because if something about revealing your manifestation goals brings another person into a space by which they articulate that they don't desire them, it's better to know, because the healthy relationship is built upon mutuality of goals, right? It's like I keep on hearing like the mutual goal setting that allows things to energetically flourish and thrive. Now for feminine, continuing here, and again, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to, we'll be utilizing the Tarot del Fuego deck. 3 cards, please. We've got here the 9 of Swords in its reversal. We've got here the 4 of Swords in its reversal. And we've also got the 9 of Cups in its upright. Now, this is really intriguing because we've got a lot of 9 energy. There's a lot of 9 energy that's in the heart space of the feminine today. Masculine is more, I want to say masculine is working more consecutively, right? Like masculine is working more into the space of, I keep on hearing steady as they go kind of energy. And I'm going to say this again, okay? I'm going to say this again. I've been saying this the last few days. If you're trying to have an emotional conversation this week with counterpart, make sure that they have the bandwidth for it. Because every time I read for feminine right now, I see feminine firing on all cylinders. I see feminine in the heart of pragmatism. I see feminine that does not feel like they have a moment to energetically catch their breath. And so I can see modalities or experiences where like do you see what's happening here, right? we've got a lot of the masculine energy in this like very sentimental, like in this point of deep sentiment. And we've got feminine that's like much more, I want to say feminine is much more kind of in warrior mode right now, right? So you got feminine in warrior mode, and you've got masculine like wanting to like share the emotions. This is like walking straight into somebody's fist is what I keep on seeing. Is that type of energy. But inadvertently, because it's like I keep on getting like, and I'm telling you, there's so many. It's because you have to remember right now, okay? Everybody's got like their sensitive pants on. My loves, okay, please listen to me. What do we got here? We got Mercury, Venus, we got Mars and Venus in Sag during Sag season. And now Mercury's coming into Sag. So it's like add a little bit of speed to that. You know what I mean? Like I told you, it's like it can sometimes feel, and I keep on getting this, when you're really energetically busy and another person comes towards you with their feelings, it can feel like an avalanche. It can sometimes feel like there's too much. Just like now is not the time. It's like that type of energy. So that's why we keep on seeing that for the energy, make sure that you're having conversations and saying to each other before you communicate, do you have the bandwidth to have a heart to heart? Is what I keep on hearing. Because for feminine, I just keep on seeing, like, this is the thing about it. Feminine is feeling frustrated in relationality to feeling energetically I keep on hearing overtasked, but I keep on getting the overtaskedness is not, I keep on hearing, it's not that it's overtasked. It's like the feminine energy is working to syncopate right now. And the thing with syncopation is it's requiring the feminine to have to shift gears a lot. I keep on hearing there's a lot of energetic gear shifting that's occurring in those modalities and experiences. So, and I feel like this is often what we see coming out of a Gemini full moon, like a Gemini full moon coming out of a Gemini full moon in Sagittarius season. So we've got a lot of feminine energy that's kind of working into syncopation, but then we've got a lot of masculine energy that's feeling more like the space by which they just want to like emotionally articulate something. And you can see how this is not like, this might create conversations where one person's trying to emotionally open up and another person's trying to be pragmatic. And then somebody says that they're not being sensitive, like that type, like that type of argument kind of stuff. Right. So making sure that you like recognize the space of being in the right phase to have being in the right phase to have a conversation is what I keep on seeing. While for moving towards non-binary energy right now, we're going to be utilizing the Tarot of the Divine for the heart space of non-binary. 3 cards, please. We've got the Fool card in its reversal. We've got the 9 of Cups in its upright. And we've got the 9 of Coins in its upright. Okay, so the thing to keep in mind right now, a lot of 9 energy on the table. And specifically for the energy of feminine and non-binary. There's a lot of similarity right now that we're seeing in the heart space right now. And I want to point out the thing with, how do I describe this? 9 energy in the heart space can sometimes feel how do I describe it? It can I need to get the right word here. It can feel frustrating because it can feel frustrating because it's often working through the experience of and again, I got to check out what's going on with Virgo right now, because it's working through the space of understanding that you will never feel perfect. perfect is not a place, it's a destination. Perfect is not a place, it's a destination, right? There are always experiences or modalities or circumstances by which we mean to perfect. And ironically, the more that we're able to calibrate for the space by which we are compassionate in our hunt for perfect, the more perfect we often find, right? Because when we stop looking for perfect, we find exquisite. And the thing with exquisite, like the thing you have to understand in relationality to exquisite is exquisite. How do I describe this? Exquisite allows for the context of more perfection to evolve within it. Exquisite is, and when we sometimes see this, right? Like perfect is energetically complete, right? It's like it feels like it's like a landing point, but like the like exquisite always allows for that contemplation, or that I keep on hearing the ineffable quality that we move towards in the understanding of the self. And I feel like that is what the energy is working on. They're working to embrace their exquisiteness. And the thing with exquisite is when you're working towards exquisite, it's really frustrating because you always feel like you never feel perfect. Like no, and I feel like this is like a conversation that they may be having with others or the self, right? Like the observation or understanding of what exquisite means, and the space by which we start to resolve. And I keep on hearing, when we look for perfect, we create trauma, right? When we try to have things, how many times have you been hurt by another person articulating, saying, I just want it to be perfect, right? Because that observation or that understanding that often, like the space by which we work towards perfect can sometimes create energetic hurt in others, is like I keep on seeing, like that's the energy that's almost articulating to counterpart about how, they're hard on themselves. Like they're I see the energy. They just recognize the fact that they're very hard on themselves, and I see some of this energy recognizing the fact that they hold themselves to an incredibly high standard. But I also see the fact that for a lot of the energy, like working through that, I keep on hearing it's not something they do simply for themselves. They do it for the energy around the self. And so I feel like there's a lot of, like, that's what I meant remember how I said the last time I did this reading, there was some energy that was working through some experience where another person saw them reserved and articulated that they were aloof, right? The way it, like the hurt, because aloofness is often articulated with the fact of someone who does not care, while being energetically reserved is often articulated by someone who's been hurt before. I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy, facilitating and recognizing upon that work, it's it's the conversation that they have in terms of not only caring a lot for those around them, but also coming to terms with the fact that they recognize that their care will often be misperceived, right? And I feel like there's a lot of that energy that just kind of makes peace with that. Continuing to get clarification, moving back into the unconscious of masculine. We'll be utilizing the Tarot of the Divine for the unconscious of masculine right now. We've got here the Three of Coins in its reversal. We've also got the Queen of Cups in its reversal. And we've got the Queen of Wands in its reversal. So, wow, that's a lot of queen energy. That's a lot of queen energy in the unconscious of masculine right now. But let's walk through it. This is, I feel like there's something really important that we see is happening in the space of masculine energy. And I keep on seeing that for a lot of the masculine energy that's working on this healing journey, and I keep on getting this, the ability to empathize. Like I can see, and it almost feel like, I feel like this is a lot directed towards other masculine energy. You know, the observation or the recognition that I keep on hearing, we are not each other's manifestation engines. You know, we are not each other, we are not means to an end, but you'd be surprised how often I see a lot of this masculine energy potentially articulating to other masculine energy and saying, do you know what it feels like to feel like you are a means to an end in a relationship? Right? The difference between a relationship that is healthy is built upon mutual manifestation goals. Because when you're not in a relationship where there are mutual manifestation goals, then it feels like you're occupying the space by which you're in a relationship only to serve as a means to an end, right? We are not each other's manifestation engines. But it can feel like these modalities or these experiences by which I almost see masculine looking at other masculine and looking towards counterpart and saying to them, why aren't they delivering me the things that I demand of them? And the energy being like, have you listened? Do you hear yourself? Like the energy going, why aren't you delivering the thing that I demand from you? Is not romantic. It's not the sound of love. Why aren't you delivering the thing that I demand of you is not the sound of love. It's the understanding of the mutual manifestation goals that we energetically create. Because the more there's no demanding that is necessary when we're working towards healthy manifestation goals, right? Often the experience or feeling by which the space by which we arrive towards a healthy manifestation is the space by which we're mutually having our energetic needs met. And so that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy of the masculine, and I like to see this when the conversations feel like they're unified, is I see the energy of the masculine articulating. And I feel like this is why they get so upset, because when feminine encounters masculine or other counterpart energies that see them as a means to an end, then the journey of them being able to build into a healthy relationship with counterpart becomes harder. Because that's the wariness that they then find in counterpart, and the wariness that's there for good reason, right? It's really hard and it's really frustrating for masculine to be in the space by which they can disambiguate, right? The fact that they want to build with counterpart in a space of mutuality versus those experiences or circumstances or situations by which another person often lacks, I keep on hearing like the spaces by which another person lacks empathy for how another person might be feeling. So we keep on seeing that in a lot of those situations or in a lot of those relationships, that observation, like working through that effectively, I keep on seeing that's building, like I keep on seeing like this is the energy that is building, that is, I keep on hearing like reaching towards healthy relationship. But I keep on hearing the relationship by which they effectively, it acts as offering. It's the capability or the understanding of the space by which we articulate, and like we articulate something, but then we don't push upon what it is that we articulate, right? That is the sound. That is what chivalry is, right? It's like chivalry is being able to bow gracefully. It's like, that's what it means. Continuing to get clarification for feminine energy, and we've got 3 cards. We're going to be utilizing the Smith-Waite Centennial deck in the unconscious of the feminine. 1, 2, 3. We've got the 5 of Pentacles in its reversal. We've got the Tower card in its reversal. And we've got the King of Pentacles in its upright. So this is what I meant in relationality to a lot of the feminine kind of being in a modality right now where they're just working into the heart of pragmatism. There's a lot of, every time I read for feminine right now, there's a lot of pragmatic energy there. So I see a lot of that energy kind of working through something, and I keep on hearing it's the work of feminine is helping counterpart to understand the nature by which they feel the difference, right? I keep on hearing the nature by which they feel safe is one by which they have a counterpart that feels protective of them, but isn't in the space of energetically coveting them, which is the space by which we feel the sense of having to overly protect to such an extent that it doesn't allow the concept or the observation point in relationality to being able to feel fully seen and fully held. Because when we articulate, right, and this is the modality or the experience by which we truly build into the space of trust with counterpart, you know, we don't need to energetically protect energy that we build into trust with, because that's what it often feels like when someone is overprotecting of you. What they're really saying, what does it mean when somebody's overprotecting of you? I don't trust you, right? That's what it means. Because I told you, the acuting, right? We protect things that we acute, and acute means to diminish something, right? So when we are protecting, and that's why we protect cute energy, right? There's energy that's cute, small energy we protect because we recognize that we don't energetically trust them. Okay, we don't trust, and that's okay. There's some energy at some point. It's okay to have energy be like, nope, no, you can't have that yet. Like, no, 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 no. I don't know. That's right. I don't trust you. Right? We do that to little things. We do that to little things whose brains aren't ready. Right? But when feminine is in a situation where they're being acuted, right? Someone's like, there. That's why it hurts to be acuted in relationship. Because what it really is, what's the message behind the acuteness? There. I don't trust you. No, I don't trust you with making that choice. I don't trust you in making that decision. Right? The observation or the understanding that is why, and this is why, again, why feminine gets so ferocious when they feel like they're in relationship by which they're being acute. Because when someone's going, oh, look how cute, what they're really saying is, you poor thing, you can't make any decisions, right? You need to be protected instead of me being protective of you. Protective is someone that says, I want to do everything I can to facilitate you doing the things that you energetically desire because I energetically trust you. And so that is what I keep on seeing, the feminine kind of working through the modality of experience of trying to help others recognize the feeling, how it feels, right? The ability to understand and recognize the difference between being acuted, the accutation that creates coveting energy versus the space of true love, which is the space by which it comes into the space of energetic chivalry that we give to each other, which is the ability to energetically facilitate the desire to be able to make something occur, or the ability to allow the self to become the fullest version of self, the healthy relationship that is based upon that facilitation towards manifestation goals. This brings us to the non-binary energy, and we'll be using the Tarot del Fuego for the unconscious of the non-binary. 3 cards, please. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Wheel of Fortune. And the Queen of Wands in its reversal. And the King of Cups in its reversal. I just want to show you, if you have an opportunity, please make sure that you head over to the stack so that you can see today's spread, because I just want to point out in the masculine energetic field, in the unconscious, we've got all queen cards in the reversal. In the feminine, we've got masculine energy in its upright, and then in the non-binary, we've got feminine and masculine energy in the unconscious space. So what we effectively see is occurring here with the non-binary energy is, I feel like this is the energy, I've got like this like knuckle cracking that happens here, because this is the energy that I told you, this is the energy that just accepts that their love will often be misunderstood. It is the energy that just recognizes and articulates upon the fact that, and I keep on seeing how another person, like I see this energy that literally has expands its love to energy that does not love them, to energy that has tried to energetically hurt them, because this is often the energy that says that that capacity of love is not something that another person can change, right? I see this energy talking to another person and being like, no, that person is dangerous. I can care about them from a distance, right? That sometimes I keep on hearing, this is the energy that sometimes says that sometimes like the gift we give someone that we care about, that care about, is distance, because I can see the energy articulating or identifying or saying that the space that I keep on hearing, they don't feel the ability to be able to, another person being like, their love doesn't go anywhere. It's how they choose to share it, is what I keep on seeing, right? I feel like that's the conversation they're having with another person. They're articulating upon the fact that there are many, many different ways to love an individual. And the space by which I keep on seeing, like the space by which they articulate upon the work that they've had to do to be able to navigate trauma and still be able to live an existence with such a full heart, is a journey of making room for all of the many various ways they have articulated how that love can be expressed. And I keep on seeing that the space by which I keep on hearing the reclamation of their love is articulated best in the space by which they identify. I can see this energy here that says that even in the modalities by which another person, like that is like almost the space, this is like the type of energy where another person projects all of their, like all, and this is what I keep on saying, they project all, because I keep on hearing them just say some energy is not safe to love. That is the journey that they've had to work through. And what do we mean by some energy is not safe to love? We work to make ourselves safe to love, because when we are not safe to love, then our love does not feel like love. It feels like the expressing of our pain onto the things that we care about. Because when we have not repaired our hearts and we love something, then all our love feels like is the expression of our pain on all the things we care about, right? It is the trauma that we spread because we haven't done this work to heal our hearts correctly. And that's why I see a lot of this energy that works fastidiously. I keep on hearing works fastidiously on the condition and the nature of their heart, right? And that's why I even see, even when they're hyperbolic, right? I can see this energy. Their hyperbole is so quick. Even when they're hyperbolic, boom, boom. Like, even in those moments, by which they feel that aggression come out, they're just as quick to energetically repair it, because it is the energy that facilitates upon the work. I keep on hearing like the work of understanding or identifying. I keep on hearing the signification point of the fact that I keep on saying that this energy often has had those moments by which other energy, when someone's projecting and you're trying to express your care to them and all they do is see pain within it. That's why I almost see that this energy has often articulated the journey of stepping back from a person or stepping further away, because I keep on seeing that ability, the ability of understanding and holding healthy boundaries, is effectively the space or place by which they recognize or identify what it is that they're trying to do in a different way. And I keep on getting that for a lot of the energy doing that work, I just keep on seeing, it's like, I feel like its counterpart almost articulating to another like why they hold their heart so preciously, like why something is so important to them. But I keep on seeing and I keep on hearing the energy kind of continue to say that if they're in the space of giving their love to the world and another person chooses to project upon them, they try not to let it affect them. But if anything, the pain that they experience is almost the pain of empathy and understanding how much cruelty must exist within another, what another has experienced that makes them see someone trying to energetically radiate joy, and all they experience is the is the response of their own shadow reviling from seeing another person in a state of bliss or happiness. Do you know the condition of your heart space that you have to be in that modality? Do you know how far gone? Do you know how much pain you're carrying in your heart by which you see another person in a state of bliss and it creates that pain in you? So I just keep on seeing that they work on resolving it within themselves, and if they experience it, they try to heal it by allowing for that state of empathy, right? It's almost like the energy that like understands like fully the shape of the pain that the person must be in order to be able to see, to have to feel that, is what I keep on seeing. But I keep on hearing just because they understand it doesn't mean that they have to navigate it, is what I keep on getting, right? It's a lot of that. I keep on hearing it's like it's a lot of that work on deep empathy. That is where that is our daily collective read for today, and I want to thank you guys so much for being here and receiving it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my site. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. Oh, I apologize. I forgot the bottom of the deck, didn't I? Thank you. All right, I apologize. Let's pull it back. Bottom of the deck right now. Masculine energy. But I think that this is important too, because when we're talking about the bottom of the deck energy right now, the bottom of the deck, like I want to describe this. Like, this is what I mean with Neptune stationing direct. It's working through, the energetic undercurrent. And I'm going to kind of read the bottom of the deck in proximity to one another, because the bottom of the deck for masculine is Queen of Pentacles in its upright. And Queen of Pentacles in its upright is working through, I keep on hearing, like, how do you move? This is masculine recognizing that not everything can be healed. You know, like I want to, moving back from what we were getting on in terms of like the energy that we saw with the non-binary into the masculine. You know, when we've come into the space, and I keep on hearing, an apology is something we give without the demand on what comes on the other side of it, right? It's the understanding or the recognition of the fact that we work so that we don't have to apologize for things, is what I keep on getting. And even in the space by which we, and I keep hearing, even in the space by which we hurt another, the accountability is key. But accountability is not a key for us. Accountability is a key we give another. When we say accountability is key, we don't mean it's a key for us. It's not the accountability that opens our door. It's the accountability which is the key we give another so that they can begin the process of healing. For feminine energy, it's the Two of Pentacles, right? The Two of Pentacles in relationality to a lot of the pathwork that we see that they're healing from, because this is a lot of the feminine that's working through the modality or the experience by which we recognize and identify the space or place by which we articulate how we're energetically feeling about things. And I keep on seeing that is the feminine that does their best to articulate upon what their manifestation goal is, because the more that the feminine energy is able to build into clarity on manifestation, the more that they're able to build into healthy reliability and partnership. So I keep on seeing that is a lot of the feminine energy that is working right now on interconnectedness. But again, the interconnectedness that allows an effective manifestation goal to come through. So that's why I keep on seeing there's a lot of that refinement that's happening right now for feminine, because it's like a lot of different pieces, but then allowing kind of, I keep on seeing like a lot of different pieces that bring you towards the common thread. Non-binary energy, we've got the Nine of Swords in its reversal. So the Nine of Swords in its reversal is, again, the recognition or the identification point that when energy is determined to misunderstand you, there's no amount of logic you can bring to a situation, right? When somebody is in, like, that's a problem. When somebody is in trauma mode, when somebody is in the space by which they want to energetically project, you could bring the most reasonable, logical conversation to another. And it's like through one ear and out the other, because trauma doesn't want to hear anything. Trauma only wants to hear the song that sings, "I'm hurting, and so should you." right? And that's why it's so important in the work of being able to heal. A healthy relationship is not the space by which we project, because what experience do you ever have? Nothing gets healed in the space that another person feels what we're feeling, right? The observation or the understanding of having to say to another person, if I have to make you feel, if you have to actually feel something to actually have empathy for it, you're far gone, right? Empathy is the ability to imagine what it must be like. So that's the energy that says it shouldn't have to reach the point that another feels it in order to have the energetic empathy. And that's why I keep on seeing if there's some kind of situation by which another person comes towards him and goes, I get it now, right? I almost see the energy being like, I'm happy for you, but that doesn't like I see the energy being like great, but that doesn't make it okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's the space by which another person says it shouldn't have reached the point that you have to feel it in order to understand it, is what I keep on seeing. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and receiving it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my site. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you, PM you. I'll never slide into your inbox and tell you I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site, so I would encourage you to do it there. A couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the Sun card. Our judgment class will be held on Thursday, December 18th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our journey into the tarot with a focus on that card. And if you'd like to become a part of that tarot class program, you just need to become a subscriber to my stack. Your monthly subscription to my stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. As a monthly subscriber, you'll have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library Class Archive. If you become a founding member, you will have access to the over 20 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library Class Archive. You'll also have access to a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage, moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my stack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. I also want to let you guys, I also post my mystic meditation articles there, which will give you updates on what we've been seeing energetically in the cards. I just wrote one recently on this Gemini full moon that we just experienced in Sag season. I also want to invite you guys to join us this August for a very special retreat that we will be taking in Italy to study the cards in the cradle by which the cards were first discovered. Our tour will take us to Tuscany, Rome, and Florence. We will be honing our craft in the tarot while at the same time better coming to understand the culture that created a home for the tarot to grow and thrive. I will also be offering unique mentorship classes to each individual that participates in that retreat. And if you'd like to find out more about that retreat, just simply head over to my stack and you'll find all of the information there. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for my students that are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits. Also, for my students seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to now offer dream interpretation readings, which you can purchase per dream or as a series. If you purchase a series, I would encourage you to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages. And we will do this again